All right, the next bill that I'm going to discuss is a bill to legalize medical marijuana to improve public health. Now, what's really interesting about this piece of legislation is the fact that it is on the ballot for 2020 in South Dakota. So your parents or anyone over 18 in your household will have the opportunity to vote on whether or not South Dakota allows for medical marijuana this November when we go and vote. So I encourage you to have a conversation with your parentals as you research this speech, if you choose to do this one, and discuss the benefits or the negatives of doing medical marijuana. So what's the first thing would be some of the things? Let's go ahead and discuss about it. So first of all, this bill only legalizes medical marijuana as prescribed by a doctor. So you just can't go down to a dispensary and buy it for recreational use. That does not happen underneath this piece of legislation. So when you are writing this speech, make sure that you are making a distinction between medical marijuana and recreational use of marijuana. So, what are some pros to this speech? The pros, there's quite a bit of pro evidence out there for medical marijuana. The very first thing that you can talk about is that it helps with nausea. Now, underneath that point, you could have it at subpoint A, cancer patients. Subpoint B, you could have motion sickness. The big one, though, is cancer patients as well. Or you could say that medical marijuana helps cancer patients. One, it helps with nausea. Two, it helps increase their appetite as well. You probably have read stuff that talks about CBD oil. CBD oil would be a derivative of medical marijuana that you could talk about as well, how it helps with seizures, and how it's been proven to help with PTSD. There is all kinds of information out there on the pro side of medical marijuana discussing some benefits to it. The fact that there are very few side effects according to some literature. Also the fact that you cannot OD on medical marijuana, and it's not as addictive as, say, opioids. So some people have said that medical marijuana could be a way of pain relief instead of taking opioids. So you could actually say on the pro side, you could set it up as medical marijuana helps physically and it also helps mentally. So physically, you could talk about how you can help with seizures, and it could help with pain management. It could help with nausea. It could help with eating disorders, stuff like that. On the mental side of things, you can talk about how it helps with anxiety. It helps with PTSD. It helps with pain management. Now, that's if you're going on the pro side. On the con side, you could argue that there has not been that much research into medical marijuana that shows the positive side effects of it. You could talk about how it is the gateway to legalizing recreational use of medical marijuana, how people could possibly abuse medical marijuana as well. Just regulation of medical marijuana is another issue. Medical marijuana could also then help fuel the drug cartels, because drug cartels actually have invested into medical marijuana companies, and they've also invested into recreational use medical marijuana dispensaries that basically the drug cartels from Mexico are the sole proprietor in those areas, because it's now a legal way to push their product that they have been growing and developing. Again, this is a really hot topic button issue in society today. So if you just go out and Google benefits of medical marijuana or reasons not to legalize medical marijuana, there's going to be a lot that pop up. But with this topic especially, make sure you're looking at the type of sources that you're using and going to cite in your speech. So like pot.com, probably not the best source to use when you are discussing whether or not we should legalize medical marijuana. Or Free the Reefer 2020 is not a good site to use to discuss medical marijuana, because those sites are definitely biased when it comes to whether or not we should legalize medical marijuana. But I do encourage you to have a conversation with your parentals while you're researching or after you're researching, if you choose to do this speech, because in November they're going to have to make a decision about why they're going to vote the way they're going to vote. And if you and ask them, why do you believe that way? What evidence and research have you done into the situation, either for or against the bill for medical marijuana? For that, And it can be a really great learning experience for both you and your family members as to why this bill should or should not be passed in the state of South Dakota. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. The email is always in your school email as well, and on the website. Thank you.